Welcome to the VET S.O.S. Veteran Educational Resources Spotlight. I am your host, Dr. Hira. Remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S. Lifeline. VET S.O.S. is brought to you by the Who You Know Network. We are excited to have Martina Meng here today with us. Martina is a first-generation American and college graduate, currently serving in the Veterans Center Manager at University of Missouri St. Louis, and is a sergeant in the Missouri Army National Guard. She holds an associate degree in education, a bachelor's degree in music education, and a master's in higher education and leadership. And that is not all. Currently pursuing her EDD. Coming from a proud military family, her mother served in the Army and is currently serving in the Air Force. Her father served in both Navy and Army, and her brother-in-law also serves in the Air Force. Her sister and beloved niece and nephew provide the foundation that keeps home strong while the rest serve. Their family holds education as a high priority, and she uses that motivation to help as many military-connected students as possible. What a wonderful background you have, it sounds like. How are you doing today, Martina?
Doing pretty well, yeah. It's a weekend finally, so.
Yeah. Given what you from that bio, it sounds like you've got a lot going on. So let's give a little background on kind of your military experience and kind of tying that with being a student and working in higher ed.
Absolutely. So I actually joined the National Guard back when I was 17. I was still a senior in high school.
Yeah.
So I needed parent permission to actually
Yeah.
join the Army, which was interesting.
Yep.
Um, so I decided to go, and then I went to basic, I think it was the day after I graduated high school. Went to
Hmm.
basic training, went to AIT, became a chemical soldier. So I started serving with my mom. Me and my mom are actually in the same unit when I got back.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool. And I got back and classes had already started, so I didn't go right away,
Hmm.
which I highly recommend. Like if you're getting out of training and you're like, oh, I have to rush to get the stuff, just wait.
Hmm.
It's totally okay to wait till the next semester
Yes.
instead of like paying out of pocket and then trying to figure out what to do. So I waited. I got a little part-time job to hold me off until I wanted to start college. And then in 2014, I started going to college. Um, None of my sergeants knew what to do about college. They didn't know the process. They didn't know how the websites work. They didn't know how our state tuition worked. They kind of
Right.
had a gist. The school kind of knew more about the GI Bill since it had been around so long,
Yeah.
but nobody could help me really with the other stuff.
Yeah.
And that was disheartening because my mom had already been in for a minute, maybe a couple of years. My dad had been in for a long time, and nobody could help us. My
Yeah.
parents didn't know, my leadership didn't know, and so it was kind of on me to figure out how do I get my school paid for because that's what the Army promises you. You join, you get free school. Also, a lie. It's not free. It's managing your tuition assistance well enough that it can be free.
Yeah.
If you're going to Harvard, the Army's probably not going to pay for Harvard while you're still serving. If you go to your local community college and work with them and make sure all your benefits are turned in on time, then yeah, it's probably going to look like it's free. So over time, I really started like learning how the process worked.
Yeah.
And because my mom was higher up than me and people would go to her, they'd be like, don't do that. Go to Specialist Meng.
Yep.
She knows. And somehow I became like the spokesperson in our unit where they would send me emails being like, hey, did you see this new updated education stuff? You're probably gonna need that. I'm not getting paid extra to do education stuff.
Yeah.
It was not a job title. They didn't give me a promotion. I didn't get an award for anything. They were just like, she's really good at it. She's going to take care of it. And
Yep.
I did. I did. I wanted to make sure that nobody else kind of felt like I did, feeling lost completely. And so I took as much of my free time that I had as possible as an undergrad student in taking soldiers to their schools, helping them fill out applications, going on tours with them, sitting down and doing, at that time it was Go Army Ed, sitting down doing that application, then their state TA, their GI Bill, explaining what the different benefits, helping them find the right degree plan for them. And probably after that, we'd go to lunch and then I'd drop them off and be like, had a wonderful day. Hope this all helps. If you need anything, give me a call. And then it became other units started finding out about me. And so their buddies would get my phone number and be like, "Hi, you don't know me,
Yeah.
but somebody gave me your phone number, and can you help me?" Well, my mom always told me not to tell anyone to, if they ask for help, try to do your best to help them as long as it's within
Yep.
your means. And giving education stuff, it really was within my means. So I just kept going and going and going. And I finally graduated. I was like, I'm done. I'm going to go be a teacher. I'm going to go hang out with little kids all day.
Yeah.
Like, that is my full-time job. I won't have the time to do this anymore. Then COVID happened.
Yeah. Yes.
And so then we started going on different COVID missions, the National Guard's calling me. I'm meeting even more soldiers. I'm helping even more soldiers go to school. And then I go back to teaching. It's like, okay, teaching's weird. That's fine. Okay. Well, teaching was too weird. Teaching was way too weird during COVID. So I took the time to apply for some more COVID missions.
Yep.
And then that led me to our state capital,
Mhm.
which is where I eventually got a job as a state tuition assistance manager for the entire state of Missouri. So instead of helping just my unit, I was helping the entire state with state
Yeah.
tuition assistance. Now I'm finally getting paid for the work I'm
Yeah,
doing in the
exactly.
Army, and I loved it. It was a good job. But the Army also, while they value education, they don't always value the specifics of your education. And I was noticing that. And I was like, there's so much more I want to do specifically with education
Yeah.
and my knowledge over this tuition assistance benefits, the needs nationally for students overall, just how a day-to-day like operations of a university goes through. And
Yeah.
so I left, and that's how I ended up back at UMSL. So that's where I actually got my bachelor's degree. And I was not happy with the experience I had with my vet center when I was an undergrad student.
Mm.
So the best way to make change, I always thought, was go do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like if you see something's not working and you know you can fix it, then go do it. So I applied, I got it, and I've been trying to fix it ever since. And according to my students, everything is wonderful and going well. That's the ones I see. We do have, according to fall 2024, we had about 523 military connected
Wow.
students
Yeah.
that we were serving with a team of 2 full-time staff in the center. So I rely very heavily on my student staff
Yep.
so they can assist other students.
Yeah.
But we're also increasing. We just got another 206 that were accepted, maybe not enrolled, they were
Yeah.
accepted to the school, and we would love to add all of them to our little home that is UMSL Vet Center.
Love that. So, I mean, again, passion, figuring it out, helping pay it forward so the next person isn't going through what you did. We see that a lot in the community, and I think that's a wonderful thing. So, what does it look like in terms of the programming that you're doing now that may be there to support? Is there any specific things that you're doing throughout the year?
Yeah, so with it only being 2 staff members, it is a
Yeah.
little difficult to have programming every single month, and then also making sure that everyone gets certified in a timely manner. We do
Yes.
rely heavily on technology, so we make sure that all of our stuff is very organized, and making sure that we can track every student that we're helping is a big start. From there, I do one-on-one appointments. So primarily with National Guard students, I take care of all of them one-on-one because no one has my experience. There's not too many National Guardsmen attending the university, so usually I'll help them, sit with them. It takes about an hour to an hour and a half to get all their benefits taken care of,
Yeah.
but we try to do it all in one sitting.
Nice.
And then my student workers and my school certifying official, they all know how the entire process works for GI Bills, our state laws that we use for education. So they do help students one-on-one there. So I
Yeah.
was very adamant that like, if a student needs to come in, you are going to be able to help them from start to finish. And if you can't help them start to finish, then call me and I will help them finish it from start to finish. Because the biggest thing is like, what's this button say? What does off installation, on installation mean? What does how many credit hours should I put into this block here? Well, just like one thing can stop a student from doing it all in one day and then they forget about it and then they don't get it.
Yeah.
So we really try to work with them and let them know that they don't have to ever do this by themselves. Every semester, if you want help doing your benefits, make an appointment, come in. You can start 60 days before the start date of class, and we'll get everything set up. It will take at most an hour of your time. And let's be honest, we're all sitting watching something on Netflix. And it takes an hour of your life anyways. Why not just come in and get your benefits taken care of in that 1 hour? We'll even put the Netflix show on the screen while you're doing the stuff if you
Yeah.
really want. And then I really try to make them, after they learn how to do it, I want to see them do it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I've done it once. I'm going to walk you through how to click everything that you need, and then you're going to do it by yourself, and I'm going to let you know before you submit if anything was incorrect.
Nice. Yeah. Good practicing on the skill, developing that. I mean, the thing is, every place is a system that you have to learn how to navigate, and higher ed is no exception. And I think some people think, oh, I'm just going to school, it's going to be easy. And it's like, no, you got to learn the systems, processes, know the timelines and deadlines of things. So it's wonderful to have people like you supporting them and making sure that they do know those ins and outs. On top of what you're doing through your center and the direct, one-to-one work and all of that, are there any major community partnerships or engagements that you'd like to highlight that you are putting on for students and or the community?
So a lot of them were before my time. So I've actually only been the manager for about a year and a half. But my supervisor and my predecessor did work with the Kaufman Fund, that's local in our area. The Burgess Foundation made a very lovely donation to our center that is helping us kind of make it as cozy and homey for the veterans as possible, updating the center for their needs. Um, we work with our local businesses, like Veterans United. We work with them. They usually come into our center and they give about every semester they go in and they give like information about VA home loan and even some finance tips. Northwestern Mutual comes in and does a class. The Missouri State Commission's office comes in twice a semester to talk about disability paperwork and what they can do for veterans,
Nice.
or
Yeah.
even dependents, what they can do for them and how they can best help. So we do try to partner with as many people who reach out to us as possible, as long as it doesn't seem gimmicky. That's the
Right,
hard
right,
thing.
right.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
we have to like really go and verify, like, okay, let me look up your organization. Let me see how helpful it is. Is it just a Facebook group? Is this an actual organization? Are you a nonprofit? Are you for profit? Do I need to buy into it? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that I have to do before I let anyone get to my vets.
It's good to screen
I
them. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like to screen them. I really want to be like that barricade for my students so that they're not like getting all these emails and text messages from people and it's not helpful for them.
No.
So I really try to work outside in the community as much as possible, but I'm also very wary of like people saying they're veteran friendly versus they're veteran inclusive.
Yep.
I
Big
think that
difference.
is a big difference, and I really don't like when we're even us. So we're like, oh, we're veteran friendly. Don't say that, please, because they're not going to come up. Everyone can technically legally be veteran friendly.
Right.
Kind of there's laws that is in place for that. What does veteran inclusive look like?
Yep.
How are you working with them? Do you kind of try to understand where they're going through? Are you learning the ins and outs of maybe some military language? Are you understanding that maybe their lived experiences are different than your other employees, and so you have to give them grace in certain aspects?
Yeah.
Veteran inclusive, I think, is the word I'd like to use for us specifically.
Yeah. No, that's great. And time flies as we do these recordings, but I did want to, before we wrap up, make sure if there's any particular programs, like in terms of what academically people are most invested in, or if there's a final piece of why students may want to choose your school, or if you just have a piece of advice for the community.
Why choose UMSL? Other than the fact that you know you are going to get everything you need taken care of in a center, I had a Navy sailor came in the other day. He's like, it felt like I was back with my group of friends in the
Yeah.
military. And we work really hard to make that a place. We're taking the toxic out, we're keeping the camaraderie in, and we have a space for you to play video games, grab a cup of coffee, talk about your lived experience, laugh about the funny parts. We don't have to talk about everything that happened to us in the military, but we do talk about literally everything else that's going on in our lives. My student workers are now lifelong friends. They're roommates now, and they met through the job and met through the center. Um, it's just a wonderful place to, I guess, not self-isolate. We're so used to doing that, especially in higher ed. We self-isolate and then we feel alone and then we get stressed and then we drop out. That's why we lack retention when it comes to some military connected students. Um, I notice that my students don't ever feel alone when they start going in and they start meeting other people, and I see them every semester. I'm looking forward to my noise and chaos again, starting on August
Yeah.
25th. So if you're not in it for the benefits and knowing that everything will be helped with a professional every step of the way, come in for the camaraderie, and truthfully, the tuition's not too bad. So we don't charge fines and fees, and that's really helpful.
No, I love that. And that piece of community is critical. I agree. It's a big piece of it. And so thank you for Martina for joining us on the VET S.O.S podcast today, on all that you shared. On behalf of the VET S.O.S family, we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You can find the VET S.O.S podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms, social media, YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and follow VET S.O.S so you don't miss a thing. And remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab that VET S.O.S lifeline.